First contact ultimatums and unwelcome demands in the gleaming glass and steel chamber floating above Geneva. Earth's leaders gathered under the glare of galactic scrutiny. The atmosphere felt sharp and fragile, as if the air itself was waiting for something terrible to happen. President Marin Carter, flanked by her chief of security, Colonel Ray Mehta, and her enigmatic contingency architect, Dr. Alina Rowe, stood at the head of the table. The council's emissaries arrived in silence. 7 strange figures draped in fabrics that shimmered with shifting symbols. Their eyes, some compound, some single and cold, some without eyes at all, surveyed the humans like curious but unimpressed. Collectors dot the lead emissary, a tall insectoid with a lattice of faceted eyes, projected its voice directly into the skulls of every human present. You have reached a threshold. Your technology now poses a statistical threat to galactic order. You must comply. There was no preamble, no warmth, no pretense of equality. Carter's mouth formed a tight, unreadable line. And what does the Council require of Earth? You will immediately cease all military research beyond your planet. Dismantle your defense grid. Submit to Council oversight. Non-compliance will result in your world's isolation, orbital quarantine, technological erasure, economic destruction. The insectoid paused, as if for drama. Resist further, and we invoke the eraser protocol. No blood, no battle, just silence. You will vanish. The words echoed in the silence. The Council had threatened extinction, as though humanity were just a virus to be scrubbed away. A faint smile ghosted across Carter's lips. Thank you for your honesty, she said. At her signal, the chamber's doors sealed with a hiss. The emissaries stiffened, realization dawning that they were not in control here. Colonel Mehta's security detail quietly checked their weapons. The architect's fingers danced over wrist pad, a silent signal only Earth's inner circle. Understood. Before you go, Carter continued, let's clarify something. Earth doesn't comply with blackmail. You believe us to be chaotic, emotional, unstable. That's correct. We are. That's why we prepared. The insectoid bristled, a ripple of subtle aggression in its posture. You would risk planetary extinction? Carter met its gaze. We built our defenses for the unknown. Every satellite you see up there, every AI you ever probed, is laced with contingencies. You disable our systems, our fail-safes go live, wipe our comms, and our autonomous weapons activate without human command. Try to erase us, and we'll become a scar you never heal. The Council emissaries tried to stand, but the doors remained locked. Dr. Rowe's quiet voice cut through the tension. We have something you need to see. On the screens, blueprints flashed satellites armed with kinetic kill weapons. Nanite clouds masked as weather monitors, self-replicating orbital defense systems. It was a reminder. Earth had learned from its history, and paranoia was its greatest. Teacher, you think fear is your weapon? Carter said. But you haven't met humanity's fear, only its fury. For the first time, one of the emissaries hesitated. What is your answer? Carter's reply was a whisper, but it chilled the room. You wanted a lion. Now you see its teeth. Humanity's hidden teeth, a game of warnings when the Council tried to leave. Carter's team held them there for a moment longer. Dr. Rowe tapped her pad. Project Lazarus, she said, her voice emotionless. Demonstration. In orbit beyond Jupiter, a derelict satellite powered up. Council sensors, ever vigilant, missed the moment it activated its dark matter compression core and accelerated towards a secret Council outpost. The Geneva Chamber's screens showed the footage in stark silence, a blossom of white-hot light, a station reduced to nothing. The Council's representatives recoiled, eyes wide. That's not a weapon, Dr. Rowe explained. It's a message. We know where you build, what you value. We're not threatening genocide. We're threatening memory, your legacy, your story. You erase us, we erase you. Earth's history flashed through Carter's mind plagues. Wars, the long ice, the bitter lesson that survival demanded ruthless ingenuity. It was a history the Council never studied. Not really. They saw violence as a flaw, not a forge. You came to trade threats, Carter told the council. But we don't barter with extinction. If you move against us, we move against your very concept of safety. The insectoid attempted to project calm. Your tactics are illogical. Resistance is unprofitable. Colonel Meta couldn't hide. A laugh. Prophet, you think this is about resources? You have no idea what survival means on Earth. The doors finally unsealed. The council left silent, the full measure of Earth's madness settling over them like a shroud. In the aftermath, Carter called for a global alert. Cities, militaries, and hidden installations activated protocols long prepared, but never used. The world's leaders rallied, not in panic, but in grim, practiced unity. Over the next 3 days, Earth held its breath. No communication came from the Council. In their absence, humanity became something even the bravest in the galaxy feared united. Cornered, and willing to risk everything, it was Dr. Rowe who saw it first. Incoming, she said, eyes fixed on the defense network feeds. The Citadel, Ark, a floating continent of metal and light, was moving through the void towards the solar system. They're not coming to negotiate, Carter said. They're coming to make an example. The Citadel Ark approaches, preparing for war. The news spread like a silent shockwave. In every underground command center, scientists, soldiers, and engineers moved with the quiet urgency of people who understood the world could end in a week. Colonel Meta oversaw the activation of Project Sentinel, a worldwide lattice of orbital railguns, missile batteries, and swarming drone interceptors. Every system cross-linked, every asset loaded with protocols for autonomous action. If Central Command failed, Dr. Rowe supervised the final updates to Project Lazarus, the cognitive virus designed to disrupt Council communication, twist their senses, and infect their command logic with carefully constructed nightmares. For the first time, humanity's greatest weapon was not destruction, but uncertainty. The Citadel Ark loomed ever closer, its obsidian skin lit with a cold blue glow. It dwarfed anything human eyes had ever witnessed, a monument to the Council's arrogance, a moving fortress designed to cow any species into submission. In Geneva, the war room pulsed with tension. Carter, Meta, and Rowe studied the feeds. Are we ready? Carter asked. Rowe answered, as ready as we'll ever be. If the Ark launches an assault, Sentinel can intercept most projectiles before they breach atmosphere. But if they deploy ground forces, we'll have to use Caliban. Carter nodded, a shadow flickering in her eyes. Last resort. Outside, the world held its breath. In schools and shelters, families prepared emergency kits, just in case. In the sky, faintly visible to the naked eye, the Citadel Ark moved. Into Mars' orbit, the galaxy's ultimate threat, now casting its shadow over Earth. The Council's final message arrived, an image of a burning planet. Not a word, not a threat. A promise. Carter looked at her team. They want us to know it's coming. But they're not ready for us. The siege of Earth turning fear into fury, the first kinetic strikes from the Citadel Ark, came at dawn. Project Sentinel activated instantly. Railguns spat streams of tungsten into the void, intercepting missiles and shattering drop pods before they could land. Drone swarms engaged in suicidal attacks against Council fighters, buying precious seconds for Earth's defenses. The Ark responded with a scale of violence never before seen. Beams of blue fire lanced through the orbital grid, destroying hundreds of defense satellites. Still, the humans fought, refusing to let the sky fall without a cost. In Geneva, Carter watched the data feeds. They're probing us, Dr. Rowe said, looking for weaknesses before they commit to ground deployment. Give them one, Carter replied. Rowe's fingers danced over the console, unleashing Project Lazarus into the Council's networks. Council officers began to falter. Their sensors flickered, battle plans twisted by false data, some even frozen by induced fear responses. Council soldiers saw hallucinations, phantoms of loss, images of defeat, reminders of every failed conquest. For the first time, the Ark's discipline cracked, but the Ark's enforcers still landed, deploying shock troops genetically modified, heavily armed, and nearly invincible. Colonel Meta led Earth's elite against them, fighting in the ruins of lunar outposts and the ash-filled air of suborbital cities. Humans used every trick: underground ambushes, hacking council war machines, even sabotage with improvised nanoweapons. It was a war of desperation and brilliance. In the thick of the fighting, Carter gave the order: if the Ark breaches the atmosphere, deploy Caliban. Rowe hesitated. That's the line we don't cross lightly. Carter's voice was steel. If it's the only way to survive, we'd do it. For Earth. Council collapsed. The price of defiance. The Citadel Ark, battered and reeling, launched one final assault. A city-killer projectile aimed at New York. Project Sentinel intercepted it with seconds to spare. But the cost was high. Over half of Earth's orbital grid was destroyed. Dr. Rowe triggered the last phase of Lazarus infecting the Ark's command AI. The council leaders inside began to panic as systems failed. Officers collapsed in psychic agony, and the Ark lost control. Meta and his special team boarded the crippled Ark in a last-ditch gambit. Fighting through chaos, they reached the council command deck. The final confrontation was brutal, and fast humans outnumbered. Outgunned, but more desperate and more inventive than any alien had ever imagined. President Carter's voice echoed. Through the Arks comes. Surrender, withdraw, or see your citadel fall forever. The council's last leader, a once arrogant Prolethean, trembled as she gave the command. Retreat. End this. As the Citadel Ark limped away, the galaxy watched in shock. Earth had been battered, bloodied, but not broken. Humanity stood, taller than ever, a species both feared and respected, forever altering the power balance of the stars. In the aftermath, as Geneva's battered chamber opened to the dawn, Carter, Meta, and Rowe stood together. They knew Earth would never be safe, but it would never again be underestimated. And above, as the council fled back into the dark, a new legend was born. Never tried to blackmail a species forged by chaos and defiance.